Hi, everybody. I'm Barb Fecto, and I will be guiding you through our journey through LBS 850, Emerging Technologies for Libraries. So this is the introductory video. If you're somebody who likes to just ferret out what's going on, if you read the introduction page and look at the class rubrics, and if you already understand how Canvas works, nice to meet you. Feel free to go on your merry way. If you're somebody who wants a little bit more hand-holding, or if this is an early class for you, I'm going to walk you through everything. So it might take a while. You might want to speed me up in the playback speed. Anyway, I put my info in the introduction thing, but I've been doing this. This is the first class that I wrote for Salem State, and it changes up a lot. The way that, excuse me, that I've managed to keep it going for 12 years, sort of in the same structure, is that the content doesn't focus on specific tools. I certainly talk about specific tools that you should know, sort of the big kahunas that, are ubiquitous, but the format is to go out and explore, for you to go out and explore based on whatever that module's topic is. So the first module is change as a constant in the school library, and sort of an introduction to the course. The second module talks about tools. The third is applications. Fourth is online multimedia, adaptive and assistive technology, which is technology that works for kids who have special needs, or that, universal design kind of things. Then we've got two sections that have a social media component. There's the module 6 is how you're using it to promote your library and build community. And then the other one is about how students use it. And we've thrown in, that as a form of communication, but also gaming has such a social component nowadays that we've put that in there with that. Then student technology promotion project, that's where it all comes down to, how how do you translate this into actual learning? Then choose your own adventure, module 9. Hopefully, many of you will be able to come to the MSLA conference, which is it's the weekend of St. Patrick's Day, but that's near Boston. Framingham, Natick? Natick. It's in Natick this year, and it's a great conference. And so if you can go to that, your response to the conference is going to be your assignment. If you can't go to that, then there's a couple of options that you have, and you'll go off and sort of build your own content for that week. Then module 10 is teaching teachers. That's where we look at professional development, being a professional development provider in your school. Then modules 11 and 12, that's where we dig deep into cataloging. Some people love it. I'm a huge cataloging fan. Some people hate it. We have a guide, Catalog It, which you need to go buy. That is a guide. It's a specific cataloging book for school librarians. Most of the time, you're not going to need to know the back end of cataloging, because most school librarian cataloging is copy cataloging, and most of the OPACs, which if you don't know what that is, you'll find out next module. Most of them have a cataloging tool that you can use, but you should be aware of it. So Catalog It, exclamation point, by someone whose name has just completely escaped me. It's gone. But anyway, it's in the syllabus, and I believe in the text. And that's a great guide for what you're going to need to know. Then module 13, we look at OPACs, which are the online public access catalogs. And then module 14, we do another look at OPACs, and then just wrap up the course. So gosh, feels like we're already finished. Okay, so that's what the oh, my screen sharing is paused. Let me resume. So that is what the course looks like. And hopefully this modules page, I think I set it up so that's when you log in, this is where you go. This is where most of the information is. I don't tend to use announcements. I'll send a class-wide email if I have something outside of the everyday or what's already here. I like to put the content up ahead of time, because when I'm taking a class, I want to know what's coming up. So I will definitely have module 1 up today, and then I will gradually eke out the other ones, hopefully a little ahead of time. But every Saturday that we, start a new module, I'll do a video like this to walk you through it. I don't really do lectures because I hate lectures. I don't like to attend them. unless the person's way more entertaining than I am. So most of it is going to be a little, this is what you need to do, and then you go out and explore. Of course, there's tons of reading, as you can see. Not everything is, oh, well, you can't see because I have not opened them up, but not everything is something that's required, especially when we get to some of these just have ridiculous amounts of, of things. But they're there for you to explore if you want them. All right, so here's the introduction page that you're probably already on if you found this video, and it talks about our sort of 4 sections. The first one is just week 1, change is a constant. Then we've got online applications and their relevance in the school library setting. And those are sort of our big, let's go look at different tools for different purposes. You are a teacher. That is the section where you basically, you're going to do a series of lessons, a unit plan, and then you're going to do a presentation to teach other teachers in your district, be it real or metaphorical, theoretical. Then managing physical resources, that's cataloging and the OPAC catalogs. So the resources, there are Renee Hobbs' Create to Learn is a great book. We're only using, I think we're only using it the first section. I'm not sure. We're not using it a ton, but it's a really good book to have. Renee Hobbs is the person who's probably influenced me most in my work. She's just amazing. And this, it talks a lot about, you're going to get questions about copyright. We don't cover that here really, except for a little bit in multimedia. But she just talks about how using technology can be so empowering for students. It's not that expensive. It's a regular book. It's not like a textbook. So go get it. Then Allison Kaplan, that's who she is. So catalog it, exclamation point. A guide to cataloging school library materials. You want the 3rd edition. I think it does beef up. I'm hoping she puts up another edition. This one's almost 10 years old, but it's perfect for school libraries. You've got a little while to get that. It's not till modules 11 and 12, which we both sort of, smush together. So assessments. There are 3 different ways of assessing. The first one is, the most important one is the discussion. I'm a huge discussion person, and we'll look at that when I take you to the rubrics in a little more detail. But that's how you attend the class. You have to visit at least 3 times a week. You have to post on 2 different days. It's really important because that's, in a class where we're all, virtual and everything is asynchronous, it's the only way to really build community. And so it's a discussion. You don't have to post before you can read the other posts. You don't have to put a ton of content up. You can just write, response posts to other people's, if that's where you are this week or this, the time that you're visiting. I want it to feel like a conversation, and it usually does. Everybody usually gets the vibe of it eventually. So blog, you're going to build a blog, which is different from a website. Please do not build a website. A blog, excuse me, makes your content, the most recent content appear at the top. Excuse me, heavens. And that will so a blog means that you're building on your content. A website is great, but if you're building a website, you're going to have to shift so that your new content is up front every time. That's kind of a pain in the neck. A blog does that for you. There's an article for that. So that's, it's not a huge amount of your class, but it's consistent. And the best thing about the blog is that it's what allows you to come back to your content, because you're never going to go back to Canvas. Like once you're done with Salem State, you're not going to go back to Canvas and look at the content that you put in, but your blog allows you to sort of narrate your course for yourself and keep any resources that you come across, any, in your own exploration or that I assign. If you have links, you put those in your blog and you'll have that when you're done. And then the assignments, these are essays, projects, and presentations, and they're spread throughout the class. You'll see them on the module and on the different modules. And some of them, I think you've got an essay or 2. There's some lists of different, media things. You've got it's all in there. There's a bunch of different ones, and hopefully they are clearly marked out. We'll talk about them in the rubrics actually. So this is very self-directed. There's a lot of time to just explore. So this way, if you're someone who's been immersed in technology for a long time and you kind of know what's out there, you can bring back stuff for the other class. Those of you who are, this is really kind of your first foray, and so much of technology is ubiquitous. Like, I mean, we all, pretty much everybody's got one of these now. But there's a shallow end and there's a deep end. If you're somebody who's in the shallow end, then that's fine. That's where you are. We're going to be looking at the purposes for what we're doing. And you are going to look at some tools, certainly, but it's going to be more about why do we use them? How do we use them in an educational setting? So, all right. So because of the online format, the timing, I've had people say to me, I spent so much time on this week. No, you got 9.5 hours a week. Okay. If you want to work ahead, you can do that, but don't hurt yourself. Okay. Because there's a lot here. There's a lot of content here. Technology and education is just ever expanding. So really do like set a timer when you're working on your class, because you'll be amazed at how fast you fall into the rabbit hole. And certain things need to get done, but you want to pace yourself and focus on the things that interest you too. If you've been a classroom teacher for a long time and it's really the library aspect that you're wanting to look into, focus on that. If you're completely new to education, you might take a more broad look. So, work within your comfort zone. All righty, let's see. Some things are required. I'll be very clear. I do a to-do list at the top of every week's content page that says what you have to do and then what else is open up to you. So the discussion is, yeah, I already talked about that. And then help. If there's something, feel free to email me. I would use the Canvas email rather than my Salem State email because I come to Canvas more frequently. But there's also a discussion board. So if you think that your question might help others in the class, put it up there. And that way, if and maybe somebody else wants to weigh in. I'll check Canvas daily. I am doing some traveling. I've got some parent issues going on, but I usually check daily. I sometimes skip Sundays, but 24 hours is usually the max that you'll have to wait for a response from me. But if you put it up there, maybe somebody else will too. All righty. Oh, and this is my little, I don't know, apologia. Sometimes we really do know stuff and we want to make sure we can explain it clearly. So in this class, I don't give a ton of very specific directions. Some things I do, but if you need more direction than I'm giving you, always reach out. I do not mind being more specific, but I also want you to feel like you own this content. And I should have said it right up front. If you are working in a school and you can use, there's an assignment here that you might be able to use in your work, go for it, because that's the best kind of work, stuff that you can actually, make work for you. So I may write that somewhere too, now that I think of it. Okay. I'll probably repeat it. I do repeat myself. So here are the class rubrics for the discussion posts. It's a 7-point system. You get 1 point for saying anything. Wow, great job, Regina, or what, any support. You can get 1 point. You scatter 7 of those and you've got your discussion points. You're not going to learn anything. Well, maybe you will learn from what you're reading, but you know what? If there's a week where you're responding, you're responding. Now a response where you add your own thing on top of it, that's a 2-point post. And then if you're putting, an initial post, if you put something that's, got some meat, that's a 3-point post. And this usually works out because there are some people, I love a discussion board, so much so that I do not go on the discussion board. You're not going to see me on there much unless I absolutely can't help myself, because I tend to take over. I can be very annoying. So I try not to be on the discussion board, but I will do a little bit of feedback to your discussions when I'm doing the grading. So not a ton, because you get feedback from one another as well. But it's a conversation. Look at my bold italics. This is a conversation. Oh yeah. If you have like 4 different ideas, do 4 different posts. They don't have to be super long, but it will allow people to comment just more smoothly, because it's a threaded discussion. That way each, you can even put a little topic up top if you want, but it just makes it easier to navigate conversationally. And then you have to post 3 times a week. So I said 3 distinct visits to the board. 2 of them must be on different days. You do have to go in at least twice. You can't go in one day and boom, 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 because it's not fair to the other posters. Um, Sometimes if everybody's glomming on, I will issue an edict. That's it, 3 times a week, but usually it's fine. But please do make sure you're going, you have to do at least 3 posts to get credit, at any credit at all. All right. The blog, the blog is what you want. It's sometimes I ask you to put content up there that's specific because it's something you're going to go look back at again. But for the most part, you're just putting up what you want up there. And if you have an assignment and you want to make that assignment your blog post, that's fine. You can do that if you want, because it's a place where you can look at your content again. So the blog is really for you, but I just go in to make sure, because building it, the actual nuts and bolts of it is a skill set that you should have. So that's something every week you're just putting up there. I did add this time. Each post must contain a visual element, because really a text heavy blog, nobody wants to read a text heavy blog. So you can just so I wrote, you can make a meme, you can use an AI generated image, which is super fun, and we'll talk about that in week 1. You can also use images that you find online, as long as you attribute them. You don't have to have it in, MLA or ALA format. You can just, image from, and then either the name of the site, the URL, however, just so that if I wanted to go back and find that image elsewhere, I could find it again. All right, then the essays, projects, and presentations. The specific requirements are in the weekly content and probably in the assignment itself, if I've done my job correctly. You can also, if you need more clarification, you can email me, you can put it up in the help thing. Here's something new for this time around. You must use AI to assist you for at least one assignment. I mean, ChatGPT is sort of the one that's getting a lot of press. Excuse me, if you're familiar with other AI systems, you can use that. What this means is you're going to turn in the work that's created, but you're also going to turn in the prompts that you used and your own edits. So if you use it for, and I made a list here of the assignments. I don't know if these are all the assignments, but module 4, you're going to be annotating some different pieces of media. So you're going to need to it'll be an individual prompt for each of those items. For your social media plan, this is based on your own interests, your own, sort of theoretical school or real school. So it's not going to be super effective for that. But once you've gotten your ideas in, you can tell them to make it prettier if you want to do that. Your response paper, this is when we're talking about students using technology in their own, world. This is an interpretive paper. It's your opinion, but you can use AI as an idea generator if you want. Then if you're not for module 8, if you're not going to MSLA, you can look into AI, and I've got a couple of resources in that module, or we'll be putting up resources for that module if you want to do that. It's huge. It's everywhere. Get used to it. All right. Then your student technology promotion project. I have not used AI to make lesson plans, but my colleague, I don't really make lesson plans in the area that I am, but my colleagues definitely do. So we do have a special format, so you can have them generate your lesson plan, but then you're going to have to plug it into the lesson plan format. So then your professional development presentation, you can certainly use it for parts of that, your OPAC proposal, OPAC acceptance letter, but make sure that I was originally going to say you have to use AI and then I have to guess which assignment you use it on. And I was like, I will never be able to guess unless you don't do any editing at all. But so you do need to identify that that's the assignment that you use, and you can use it as a tool for all your assignments if you want. You just have to then, what was your prompt? What was, what are the edits that you made? You sort of have to walk me through it. I would ask that you not use AI to generate discussion or your blog post, because unless you're, just using it for editing, because that's your personal, take on everything. All right. I think that is all that I have for the introduction. I'm sure that this is very long, but I know it's shorter than 40 minutes because I'm using Zoom. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me in the Canvas email tool. I think my phone number is on the syllabus if it's an emergency. And I'll be on the discussion boards and in the old Canvas every day. So I'm looking forward to this time. Take a deep breath, take it slow. It looks like a lot, but you're going to be hacking away at it. And again, remember to just keep track of your time, because if there's so much there and you can't get to it and you've put in that time, you just tell me, Fecto, you've gone bonkers. I can't do it. And that's going to be fine. All right. Oh, I don't like late stuff. I will take it, but you won't get feedback. And hopefully I wrote that down somewhere else. I guess we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see who watched it to the end. All right. Have a great week. Have a great course, and I'll see you on the discussion boards. Bye.